Uncensored is a podcast where real-life coders share their stories, best practices, and talk about coding and beyond. Coders Uncensored, podcast real-life coders,
best practices,
coding and beyond. Coding and beyond. This is Coders Uncensored. We are live, guys. Wow. This is it. This is the first episode. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuning in now on the live stream. Thank you for everyone who's going to be tuning in after on the podcast, which will be released the next day after we do the live stream. And I just really want to share my gratitude to everyone out there who's joining us in this new adventure. I'm Angel. I will be your host. I'm going to bring my co-host later in a few minutes, as well as the featured coder. But I just wanted to real quickly introduce what the show is and who I am. Not many people know me. I'm not famous by any measure of standard, and I am not a social media guru or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy who smokes a lot of weed and codes almost, I could say, every day, including weekends, because this is my daytime. This is my hobby, and it's sad, but I wanted to build a show, which is Coders Uncensored, which is more based on coders that have no filter. And when I say no filter, is I want to be able to express my feelings, and I want to be able to I don't know, just curse on live, curse on stream, curse on podcast, and just express everything from the people that I have to deal with on a daily basis, from the code that I have to write, from always forgetting simple syntaxes and then needing to go to Stack Overflow and figure it out, and cursing whenever I can't figure out a solution. And I know a lot of coders can agree with me when they say that it's nice to have an outlet to be able to speak with one another, but to listen to other people's problems and issues related to code, and put a human face behind everything. So again, I want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for the featured coder who will be presenting here soon, taking the bullet and joining this first episode. And I cannot express my gratitude any more than that. So let's jump on the overview of the show and how it's going to be structured. If you are live streaming throughout the show, please send in your questions. We don't see anything until the very end of the show. So all your questions that you submit during the podcast, the video live stream, they're going to be towards the end of the show. We're going to have a Q&A section, and we'll read them out loud here, all three of us. And that's pretty much the only outline you need to worry about, at least for now. And then with every segment that we do have, we're going to have a nice little title card so you guys can follow along. And I will be explaining everything as we speak, just so our people in the audio podcast can follow. With no further ado, let's introduce my co-host. He is Travis. I've known Travis for a little over 10 years now. It has been a long time since I've known Travis, and I can easily call him my brother. So let's bring him in here. Travis.
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me a part of this venture for Coders Uncensored. I'm coming from the new coder standpoint. I've been coding since late November, early December. So going on about 4 months now, out of necessity due to the quarantine, the pandemic. Yeah. Had to make some changes, coming from an audio entertainment background, and coding was an opportunity to work from home and still make some money. So I just want to represent everybody who's thinking about making a change, going into coding. I know we usually see only one type of person might be able to be a coder, but anybody can do it. But it did take a lot of dedication to even start. Everyday classes, weekends, early mornings, late nights, just to even learn. But it's worth it. So I just want to be that new person to tell everybody, you can code. So that's my kind of my contribution to the show.
That's awesome. And a little background, at least on me as well, because Travis, you did bring up that you're a newer coder. I am more of a coder on the side of JavaScript. I'm more JavaScript based coder, and I've worked with PHP, WordPress, JavaScript, and so forth. And you're more on the front end side, right?
Yeah, front end, just basic HTML, JavaScript, CSS, SAS, stuff like that.
Great.
Eventually get into PHP, but some WordPress too, of course.
Yeah, yeah. And eventually that's the goal for Coders Uncensored. We want everyone from different type of skill sets to join in to ask any questions, because at the end of the day, one coder cannot do everything. So it's good to have different perspective, which is a great segue to what we're going to be talking about today. I'm asking you a question, Travis.
Okay.
You know what C# is?
C#, we learned about that in band class. It's like a note right after C, up the scale, C#.
Yep. Yeah. I would have said yes. To be honest, C# for, at least for me, was I was called this C# for a while, and C#. For some reason, I always thought it was C# for the longest, but no, I was corrected. And it was embarrassing, but hey, I learned.
Right.
C#. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do in this part of the show. I'm going to throw up an example of 3 websites, right?
Okay.
These 3 websites, you're going to have to guess which one you think is made out of C#. The other 2 are made of completely different applications.
So C# is a coding language.
It is definitely a coding language, correct?
Okay.
So let's throw it on the screen here, and the questions are as follows.
Okay. McDonald's, Chipotle. McDonald's website sucked. Chipotle, I had a horrible experience there. Burger King.
Wait. You had a horrible experience at Chipotle?
Yeah, they sent me a discount coupon for a quesadilla, and I had the worst quesadilla I had in my life. So I actually tweeted them about it because I don't play that. Yeah, I had to tweet them about it. So let's say Burger King was made with C#.
All right. So for the people listening to the podcast, the question is websites built with C#. It's A, McDonald's, B, Chipotle, or C, Burger King. And you say what?
C, Burger King.
All right. Final answer?
My final answer.
All right, bitch. You're about to be disappointed. Oh!
And Chipotle, man, listen. Okay, that makes sense, though. They're going to use C#. They're doing subpar quesadillas out here. They're going to use a language that nobody really uses anyway. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I'm actually very happy Chipotle.
I go to their website and inspect it and look at the code, and it's going to be all nasty and ugly. Watch.
It's going to be like the quesadilla.
Right.
But to also give you an idea of what else we could do with C#, games related, we could do some games that were done with C#. As Bastion, Showrun, what is it? Shadowrun Returns, Rust, Wasteland 2, and Hearthstone. Okay. I only play, I guess, what do I only play? I don't even play games. I sold my PS4. I'm still waiting in line for the fucking PS5. It's impossible. I'm never going to get a PS5. I've accepted the fact that I'm going to be a mobile player playing from my phone.
But all that's based off C#?
It's all based off C#. For Windows applications, Visual Studio, Skype, Internet Explorer, Photoshop, SQL Server, and Microsoft Office.
Oh, there's a lot of applications there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of applications.
You're on the newer side, Travis. So you may not understand the cultural influence of Slack. Slack is like the one thing a lot of coders use for at least when they're messaging to one another. Slack, C#, Insightly, Pinterest, Tableau, the World Bank, NBC Universal, Fox Sports, Viva, which and the last word I can't pronounce. Tax file. I'm sorry.
Tax file?
ILE.
Oh, just spell funny
word.
Okay.
Tax file or something like that. But no.
All of them created on a C# language.
It's all created on C sharp. Of course, there is some things that C sharp is coded in with, like for example, .NET and Unity, similar to what ES6 when we use JavaScript,
Okay.
other node modules. So it's all in the
So
same.
C sharp is more of a .NET base.
Yeah.
Is it working with .NET? No. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, did you learn?
A little bit. I mean, I see it's way more common than I thought.
I will say that when I was looking into C sharp coding, it's a headache. I was going crazy.
I ran the other way. That's what that was. Like that was not my.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot more opportunities other places that I saw, but maybe I just didn't look deep enough to C sharp. But yeah. I was like, I'll leave this for somebody else.
So I have a small feeling we're gonna need a professional to educate us on this.
Nah, definitely, I agree because I don't know.
Now, sure, yeah. So let's bring in a feature coder. Her name is Lanna. No, it's not. It's not Lanna. It's not Lanna. It's Lanna, right? Lanna.
Like Lanna, like Atlanta. Lanna.
Lanna. I've known her for a while now through social media channels, and she is great. She is definitely a great person to follow and a great person to get educated on, because she does have a YouTube course on YouTube.
Yeah, I got to sign up for that one for the C sharp.
You bet your ass I'm going to be following that C sharp one, because I need to know just to start. I need to figure out how to start. But before we bring her in, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Stay informed on health and laws regarding cannabis, from agriculture and business to entertainment and fun topics. Geek Cannabis is your online source for news and updates about cannabis, CBD, and hemp worldwide. GeekCannabis.com.
All right, so with no further ado, let's bring her in. Coming from Detroit, a self-described free spirit with absolutely zero fucks to give. Here we go.
All right. Welcome.
I can't listen to you guys and not laugh. C sharp has nothing to do with your shitty quesadilla.
Hey, I'm just saying. It's just a coincidence. I
don't really like the quesadillas from Chipotle, but they're putting adult quesadillas on the menu now, so maybe it'll be better.
That's what it was, though. It was a new promo.
Fuck, I don't know.
And then in the parentheses, like the syntax, it said "design with C sharp" right next to it. Right when the case fell out, it was like, and I was like, "See, I know I made the right decision to go another route."
Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a brave pioneer and jumping ship with us here and doing this first show with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm a full stack software engineer. I've been coding for over 8 years. I've been professionally developing for about 4 years. And yeah, that's really me with development.
Nice. So again, we had to do a lot of research with C sharp before this question, before the show. So we compiled a list of questions that I feel like a lot of developers will like to know, especially from your point of view, someone who actually works with C sharp on a daily basis. So Travis, do you have any questions before we jump into the coder questions?
No. I just jump into the coder questions.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what we can find. So Travis, start with why don't you do the honors and start it off?
With the coder question for Lanna, my first question for you is, why C sharp? Like, what made you go towards that? When I was starting to code, it didn't look like something appealing. So what made you go towards C sharp?
So C sharp is not the first language that I learned. So I probably wouldn't have tried to learn it immediately without knowing any other coding language. I had already learned a bunch of coding languages before C sharp. So I knew Java, I knew Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And I went to college for computer science, and I wanted to get more hands-on learning because the college I was going to, in most colleges, you get a lot of theory and not a ton of hands-on development. So I wanted to get more hands-on development. So I went to a boot camp, and they had different languages, which I already knew Java, I already knew HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I wanted to learn something new and kind of go for like something that would be more of a challenge, which I felt like would be C sharp because I didn't know it yet. So I chose the language I didn't know yet.
So you practically said, oh, I know I do everything Angel does, but fuck him. Let me learn something new, completely new on top of that.
Entirely, yeah. I don't really know React though, so I mean, you have that.
Yeah. And I would have to say that I think when I was doing the research, McDonald's was the one that has React, and Burger King has Angular. And just for our listeners, so they can have understand different websites do use different type of coding in the back end. But yeah, C sharp is definitely for the heavy hitters. So I do have a question. As JavaScript developer, there is daily issues. There's literally daily issues with the most simple items on it. So what is the biggest challenge on C sharp? Anything that you feel like kind of happens every day, you're like, oh fuck, damn, I can't get it to work. Like, what's the biggest challenge on there?
I don't know if there's like any one specific thing that I constantly run into, especially because I'm like working with, I feel like, different types of technologies at different times. So like I could be having an issue with an API, or I could be working on a website, or just some sort of backend service. I would just say that, like, for me, getting to know all of .NET and C sharp is like obviously not even like doable because it's ever evolving, but just running into issues where like there's another thing that you didn't know existed in .NET that now you need to read up on and try to implement, something like that, just because there's so much to it. There's just stuff I'm learning every day about C sharp and .NET that I'm just like, fuck, I didn't know that I'm not a developer because I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. That's cool. Now, I read somewhere that C sharp has been used to make like a lot of video games. Like, have you worked in the gaming industry at all, or have you used that at one point, C sharp as a way to, like, I don't know, create a game for yourself or anything like that?
So I have not created any, like most of the games you've probably read about are video games and ones that use Unity, which is like a 3D game engine, I think. I would like to get into it, but I haven't. The only games I've made with C sharp were like beginner console applications that were like rock, paper, scissors or something. So I haven't made any sweet 3D games with Unity. I build like websites and backend services, not nearly as cool probably as it would be to use Unity.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I know what you get with the rock paper scissors. I feel like the first thing I learned was tic-tac-toe. I think it's usually the one you learn when you're trying to learn APIs and stuff. So I guess my question would be more like the job market. How's the job market for that? Like, can someone easily kind of apply for a job, or is there a lot of competition out there?
I do notice that there aren't as many job postings for .NET and C sharp developers as I see for maybe Java or like JavaScript focused positions, but it doesn't mean that there aren't still opportunities out there, because I have interviewed for tons of places for C sharp positions. I just feel like there's so many more companies that use Java and JavaScript because C sharp came out in like 2000. And I feel like a lot of places just kind of kept their shit in place. Mm-hmm. I mean, I haven't had an issue finding a job with it, but I also think the main thing is not to worry about, like, a lot of people try to stick to one language, which is fine because like I'm kind of doing that with focusing on C#, but I think like being able to just problem solve and knowing that if you know Java, then you know object-oriented programming languages. So then you can switch to a different one like C++ or Perl or C#, and carrying like the concepts around is really helpful. So like that is in demand. And then just kind of like being able to pick up a new skill.
Okay. So with that being said, do you have advice for someone who may want to start getting into C#? Let's say, for example, after I get more experience with JavaScript and all these other languages, and I say, okay, I know about 3 or 4 languages. Now it's time to go to C#. What would you suggest I do? Is there a certain path that's best for a C# beginner?
I don't think that there's a certain path, but I would also say that C# is not as intimidating as you're making it out to be. I think that C# is actually going to be a lot more user-friendly than Java. There are like easier languages to learn as a beginner, like Python and JavaScript, because they're not, it's been a long time since I've used Python, but like they're not as strict as C# and Java. So like those are strongly typed languages. So like with JavaScript, you don't always have to declare the type of data that you're using. With C# and Java, you do. And so I think that like it can come off as an intimidating language because you see it do so many things, or like the syntax might look crazy, but there's a lot of things in C# that help you, I think, as a beginner get into it. And that's one of the things I want to do when I create my tutorials I was talking to you guys about, that having people learn C# in a beginner-friendly way and not be so intimidated by it, because there really isn't a reason to be, because that was one of the reasons it was created. There were many reasons, but one of them was that it could be more user-friendly for the developer. Specifically for like a beginner or just wanting to learn C#, I found that Tim Corey has really good tutorials. He has his own website where he sells tutorials and has them on there. And then he also has a YouTube channel. But he has really good .NET and C# step-by-step tutorials. I also really like just Googling or like looking on YouTube for different tutorials for like what specifically I am trying to learn. Also, Udemy is a really good one for really any language, anything. Udemy is just a great site. And also Pluralsight. Pluralsight has like a lot of stuff on it. I think all of it you have to pay for, and I'm pretty sure usually pricey, but I've found it to be pretty worth it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's dope. I think the only one I really use is Codecademy. Excuse me.
That's a good
Academy. And then YouTube. YouTube has been my BFF for like a good solid 10 years.
Yeah.
Like before it looked cool, and before all the new added features has been added. But that's awesome. That's awesome. So I thought for the next thing we talk about, we do almost like a little game. We've heard the this or that kind of aspect of a game. I wanted to add a more kind of coding flair to it. So I'm going to present you some questions, this or that, if, else, if, and if, however you want to call it. But on this show, we're going to call it if and if. And we're going to start with the very first one. VS Code versus JetBrains. What do you think?
I would say VS Code, but I don't use either of them. But like if I had to, I would use VS Code.
I use VS Code, so thank you.
That's actually a great question. What do you use for C#?
I use Visual Studio.
Oh.
So Visual Studio and VS Code are different because VS Code is more of like Sublime and like a souped up Notepad++. And I don't have a ton of experience with VS Code, so like it could be way cooler than I know it to be. But Visual Studio is what I use for all of my development. I've used that for years.
Nice.
Yeah, that's old school. That's like OG. That's old school. That's cool.
Next question.
All right. Liquor or cannabis?
That's always going to depend on the mood that I'm in. Cause like sometimes I want to like be a party girl and I want my tequila and that's really about it. But like I always smoke cannabis. So it's never going to not be cannabis, I guess. It'll usually be cannabis or cannabis and something.
Okay. The combo.
That's the only way to do it. That's the way of life, right? So this next question, I think you're gonna have more of an insight of than us. So Java versus Python. What do you think?
I hate Java. It's so fucking stupid. I just can't stand it.
Right, like
It was one of the first languages that I learned. So like I can't like it helped me understand object-oriented programming languages. It helped me, understand how to code and stuff. But like I think going from Java to C# and just seeing how much more elegant C# is. I feel like Java, you just have to like import so much shit and like there's so many like things you have to set up to get it to work, and it's just like a whole fucking process. Whereas C#, it's like it's meant to be efficient, it's meant to be productive. So I just naturally veer away from Java. Python, I think, was the actual first language that I learned. And I haven't used that in a long time, but I would choose Python over Java.
Interesting.
That's real interesting. Okay.
I would have put my money that you were going to say Java for some reason.
I thought you. Yeah, I thought that too.
I mean, it's like the most similar to C#.
Yeah.
Because C# was created as a competitor of Java. Like Microsoft wanted to make changes to Java, but Sun's the people that created it, they didn't want any changes made. So C# was developed by Microsoft, and it basically is like a hybrid of C and C++. And it like takes the best parts of like those three languages with Java. And like, I think it just makes a better language. But I mean, everyone else can tell me to fuck off. That's fine. I don't.
No, I mean, I will say like this, like just from briefly looking at it, Java and C# look like similar to me, and I was like, nah, I don't like this. But you're right. If I looked at Java too much, then maybe that was a problem.
I mean, just like looking at the way that you would print out "Hello World" with Java, it's system.print.line, something like that, and then it's like "Hello World" in parentheses. I mean, that might not seem like a lot to do, but like with C#, it's just console.log or console.writeline is what it is. So I don't know.
You just have to follow directions, and you can think with C# is what you're saying? You can use your brain.
Java, I just feel like there's a lot more like typing period, like getting like all of this shit out to like just say something. Which I mean, C# has a lot of stuff involved in it too, but I guess I just don't feel like there's as much setup for simple things.
Okay. Gotcha. No, that sounds good.
Question.
All right. So do you prefer beach or the mountains?
I think mountains.
Wow.
I definitely love the beach and like going somewhere tropical, but I like the mountains just because it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's usually like the best view. I like being alone. So like I like, going in the mountains secluded. I actually have this tattoo. It's technically glaciers. It's like upside down.
Yeah.
I went to Iceland and I went glacier climbing and I just like fell in love with it. And so I got this tattoo there, which kind of ended up fucking sucking. It looked like
you were climbing through the glaciers. What?
I climbed basically like an ice wall. So like you put on like shoes that have spikes in it and like you have ice picks and like you climb a glacier.
Like Game of the Thrones, like for real.
I've never watched Game of Thrones. I know. You guys are just going to cut me off now. I'm not even allowed back on here ever again.
Because the ending was so bad, I'll let you ride on that. Only because the ending was bad.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely give it to you because that is like definitely one thing I know for a fact I will never want to do. I mean, it's almost in the same playing field as like skydiving. Like, hey, that's cool. Good for you for
You
jumping.
don't want to go skydiving either? Oh my God, I love
I would
skydiving.
go skydiving, but I'm never sitting in the house like, hey, you know what? You know we got to climb the glacier, right? Nah.
It was so exhilarating. It was awesome. And then we got to drink the water from the glacier, like the freshest fucking water you've ever put in your mouth.
Okay.
It was magnificent.
That's actually pretty fucking dope. I'll give you that one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be definitely that.
That's like the only water that I drink now is Iceland water ever since I went there. It's fucking amazing.
Right.
Straight up went to Iceland, tasted the water, and was like, "Fuck that! I am never drinking Poland Spring again."
Seriously?
Hey, that's funny. And that's funny. I met some people from Iceland and Spain, right? And they refused to drink the water. They said it was so nasty. I was looking at them like, what?
They don't like coming to America. Our pollution is really bad.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
And you out there climbing glaciers with them. Okay.
that was interesting. Now, the next question, I have a small feeling that I feel like it's going to be the one on the left. TypeScript or JavaScript? I don't know why I feel like you're a TypeScript person because fuck JavaScript, but I'm curious.
So I've never used TypeScript.
Oh.
I have heard it's similar to C#, but I don't know because I haven't used it. I have used JavaScript a lot. I don't like it because it's just so like fucking meh. It's just like you can do anything with it, but like you can't do shit with it. So it's like a weird language. I've like taught it a lot. It's a really good language to teach and it's super handy for a lot of things, but I really just like don't like having to deal with it. I would say TypeScript just because I've heard really good things about it. And like I've thought about trying to pick it up, but I don't actually think I would need to use it.
This is so disrespectful.
I know.
It's all good.
JavaScript coders are bitches. Like fuck them.
Right.
I do have to say I played with TypeScript a little bit.
Okay.
I know I played with it maybe for like 10 minutes before I'm like, fuck this. Like I'm not gonna learn TypeScript, especially when knowing JavaScript. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It makes sense. What you just said right now helps me click that TypeScript is very similar to that, to C#.
I might give C# a chance. She's like campaigning so hard for it.
I know, like
I might have to really give it a chance. Like,
quit all my
projects on hold. Put some projects on hold, and let's go ahead and get acquainted. You know. We got another question. I think it's no. Go ahead. Oh yeah, dark mode versus light mode. Which one?
Dark mode all the time. Always. I'm upset when apps don't offer a dark mode and then like I try to find an extension or like a way to make it dark mode.
Yeah, I think like everything I've learned is like preset on dark mode. I was telling him even VS Code, I saw it in light mode and didn't recognize what it was. I'm like, what is this?
There's times where like I won't recognize a specific app just because like the layout is so different or like the contrast. So
it's too bright. Nobody want to look at that so bright all the time anyway.
Yeah, everything I have is dark mode.
Cool.
Yeah, with you.
Good choice, finally.
Actually, what did I see? Like, I saw something recently in light mode. Oh, Dreamweaver. So I have to say, when I first started coding again over 10 years ago, I did start with Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver right now, if you tell people you code with Dreamweaver, you're gonna be laughed out of the room and I never really get the respect you need. I recently went on Dreamweaver, Adobe Dreamweaver, and I saw it in light mode, and then I saw it in dark mode, and they're two different things. It's completely two different things, and I am impressed with all the upgrades they've done. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be fucking coding with Dreamweaver. I don't think anybody wants to be coding.
Yeah, why did you go there? What happened?
It was by accident. I have all these products, and I clicked it by accident.
Okay. What's going on? What's going on? You let us know about. Just let us know.
Years.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a long time for me. It was kind of weird, and of course, it took forever to close after you opened Dreamweaver. But that's the way it goes.
Right.
So for the next segment, it's titled "Explain the Source Code." So this was fun. What we did was we pulled some pictures from your social channels, right? And you don't know about them. And all we ask is, what's the backstory? Explain the source code. What's the backstory behind these pictures, right? So we chose three that I think was pretty fucking funny. And for the people on the podcast, I'm right now pulling up a picture of her, a selfie. You know, she's posing. And she's posing with her mug. You know, as a regular coder, we drink a lot of coffee, we drink a lot of water. But on this mug, it says, suck my non-existent dick, bitch, with a beautiful kind of hand-drawn unicorn flipping everyone off.
Yeah.
What's the source?
Yeah. I'd also like to point out that I'm wearing a shirt that says "Stop looking at my dick." It's backwards. So apparently I talk about dicks a lot is what I think it's getting at. But so one of my friends got me that mug because I usually tell people to suck my dick. And they say it doesn't exist, but I like to act like it does. And I like to act like it's bigger than everybody else's. So it's because I have a penis and it's bigger than everyone's, basically.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
That's what that's about.
Okay.
I love that. So the second picture we found, it is, I believe, a pink cake with pink frosting. It has a lot of fruits, no vegetables,
toppings,
no vegetables, just fruits, and a pink cake. It looks really delicious, actually.
That I love to bake. And that was something that sometimes when I am either like really happy or really upset, I just like put my emotions into something. And a lot of the time it's baking. And so that specifically, I was like really upset about something and I just fucking busted out this cake. I think I was up until like maybe 3 a.m, 5 a.m, something like that.
What kind of cake was it?
I never really have recipes. I usually just wing it. So that one I think was like, it was like a lemon, some kind of like lemon cake. I put like a blackberry puree in it. And then the frosting was like a cream cheese berry frosting.
Oh, cool.
So
if you get upset, there's no glacier to climb, we're going to bake a cake.
I'm going to make a cake, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You ever make a cake shaped out of a dick?
What?
You ever make a dick cake?
No, but I should.
What?
Well, there's a lot of creative stuff to do with that.
I feel like that should be the next post.
Oh, so that's her thing.
That's her thing. So
they have dick like cake pans.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the next thing that needs to be.
I could find one. There's probably different shapes and sizes too.
Yes. There we go.
I have no interest in this conversation.
The stuff I can do with the icing, it would be so cool.
Yes. Yeah, get creative. Love it. So with the first picture, it is actually a video still. So in this video still, she's about to jump. I believe this is a hammock. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you're about to swing. Well, in the video itself, you're legit just doing crazy stuff on there. Bring the source code on there.
That was what I was telling you, Travis, because you were talking about me flying. So that's the actual flying stuff. So that's aerial acrobatics. That is something I started doing, I think actually about a year ago, like right before quarantine, I think. But yeah, I like working out and like doing activities, fun workouts. I like going to the gym, but I like doing fun stuff to work out as well. So aerial is one of them. It's just like a full body workout. And it's super fucking fun and it makes you feel like you're flying and you get to like drop and shit. So that was me in Denver when I went there at the beginning of the year. I went and like found an aerial place and I went and I flew around with them.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I know that's something I definitely cannot do. I think I'll just break my back.
You could definitely do that, and it's probably great for your back. There's like a lot of shit that you can do. That's helpful.
It's like C# kind of thing. Like I see.
It's basically like C#. Like everyone can do
it. How much is C# paying you to say all this?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And now we're sadly we are reaching the end of the stream. And this part we're going to be taking questions from the people who have submitted questions, and we're going to be answering them here live. I was fucking kidding. That was the end titles. And we don't want to put the end titles just yet, right? So the Q&A, let me go ahead and click around here. Let's see what we can find. These are great actually comments. Like, for example, she made it. I'm so glad you made it, Miss Honey Show Reloaded. But she also said, this is some super smart people stuff. LOL.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is jump into the next question. I'm pretty sure you know this person, huh?
Yeah.
Are you the best? What's the best beach I know?
Was it because I said I liked mountains instead of beaches?
Hey, she got the squad coming representing in here.
I love Heather. Heather's one of my favorite people.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of people here who are talking about the glaciers. For example,
I'm just saying.
climbs glaciers and does not watch GOT. Feels like her and I should be friends.
I told you that glacier bit got me. I was like, wait, hold on. You actually went up the glacier?
Apparently, the glaciers were a hit.
Man, we learned about that in social studies, glaciers, you know.
Yeah, so apparently it was a hit. Is there anything else you would like to talk about glaciers? Any other comments about glaciers you'd like to throw in? Apparently, a lot of people are curious about these glaciers.
I climbed them. I don't know. I didn't do anything that great with it. No, it was super fucking awesome. I like, we wanted to go somewhere and like do something adventurous, and Iceland is definitely the place for that. But it would have been cool to also maybe go skydiving. That would have been pretty dope to do there. But
and see the glaciers from the top.
If we could have like climbed a glacier and then like jumped off of it in a wingsuit, like that would have been pretty cool. I would have done that. You usually die in a wingsuit.
Like a Michael Bay movie.
Not many people make it from wingsuits, so maybe don't try that.
Yeah. No, if I was there present, I'd be waiting on the ground floor, just waving, "Hey, we're here. You could fly towards us." Now, the next question comes from Twitch. Let's see. As a coder and working from home, where would be your dream location to work from? And as a woman in code, what would be your best advice for women who feel intimidated by the coding world? That's a badass question. I would leave it up here so you could.
Yeah, say fucking leave it up. Don't take it away. As a coder and working from home, my dream location to work from home. I mean, one of like my things was working in Detroit, like living in Detroit and working in downtown Detroit was kind of my like local dream. So like I love kind of my setup right now. I guess if like I could literally choose anywhere to work from, it would probably be like some all glass corner office in the mountains that also had a view of like some water. That's probably, if I could just like pick, I'd probably do that.
Nice. The second part of the question.
So women in code, what would be your best advice for women who feel intimidated by the code world? I have a very unpopular opinion of women in tech and the whole, I guess, diversity issue with that. I don't think that you should give a shit whether you have a pussy or a dick. It doesn't matter, because that's not what's going to write your code. And I know a lot of people say that like women have a different experience to bring or men have a different perspective to bring, which is true. But I've met a lot of women who had experiences that you would think most guys would have. And I've met a lot of guys that have a lot of experiences that you would think most women would have. So I don't think that gender should matter at all in a lot of the discussions that I guess are being had in coding conversations. I just think that you should do whatever the fuck you want to do. So, I mean, like if you want to code, if it's intimidating, just get better at it for you. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, if you're a man, what color you are. I think that it is completely up to just you being motivated, you having that drive and just doing it. Nobody can stop you or get in your way but you. So, I mean, if you want to code, do it. You shouldn't be intimidated. I was intimidated, I think, but that's, I think, why I did it. So just keep challenging yourself and just keep doing it, and don't worry about like any appearance or anything like that.
That's damn. That
Right.
was perfect.
Great answer.
Really
Great
good.
answer.
That was really good. They actually responded with a yeah.
Yeah.
The live streamer did a yeah, so that's great.
Great answer.
But thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this with us and jumping on board. I just want to thank you, Travis. I want to thank you for jumping on board here. But before we actually end this, we just got a new question. Let me pull it up. What project are you most proud of?
What project am I most proud of? I think I'm pretty proud of like all of the ones that I've been able to work on that actually had an impact in the company. I think at each company that I've worked at as a developer so far, I've been able to contribute to things that mattered, that actually helped make people to do their job more efficiently, and to just help the actual business save money and working hours and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know that I'm like more proud of any of them than I am like of one than I am of the other. Yeah, I know the Anheuser-Busch one that I did that like I've posted about a couple times. That was pretty cool. But it's like, it was a bigger name. So like maybe if it was a smaller name, it wouldn't seem as cool, but like that saved people a lot of time and money. I did some stuff like working with DTE Insight app and being able to like help streamline some things there. But yeah, I guess in general, I like being able to make an impact with the work that I do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I will say I'll piggyback on what you're saying. And yes, definitely the name was a difference, because doing a doing a shitty site with a name brand is usually still a pretty good site. You know, like it could be a simple template it up, but hey, you know what? I built it on this brand and it's badass. So
Yep.
yeah. So yes, thank you again. I'll wrap it up by saying thank you for being here. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to throw out there? Any special plugs you want to put in?
I don't have any plugs.
Aside from your YouTube channel that
I
I'm
do
going
have a YouTube channel. I only have like 4 videos, but it is Lanna Develops. I am in the process of posting a bunch of stuff there, and there will be other tutorials and videos coming on a different site. So when that comes, I will be posting more about that. But yeah, right now I just have like some beginner advice videos that I think can be pretty helpful for people trying to get into development. There's like a misconceptions video I have that I think is helpful, since so many people think so many stereotypes about developers. So yeah, Lanna Develops.
Nice. Travis, any final thoughts?
Oh no, thank you for being here, Lanna. You know, hey, what you represents what we represent. Everybody's welcome to come into the world of coding. Like, I'm a brand new person here in coding, and everything you said earlier is what, you know, why we're doing this.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for being here. So everyone, thank you for tuning in on this live stream. We will be doing this every Wednesday, different times, because we don't give a fuck and we kind of wing it. So depending on the time, we will let you know on all our social channels. Thank you again for being here, and tune in next week. Bye, guys.
All right.